as you listen to me, try to explain the answer to, did I do it right? Or what did I do wrong? I want you to think about the times in your classroom that you give students rubrics. And you say to those students, here's your rubric. Follow the rubric and you will get it right. You will earn all of the points. Okay, this is exactly what the National Board Certification process is for you. They're giving you the rubric. You have the entire scoring guide. They explain to you, and I also do in this initial challenge that I do, explain to you about these National Board certification scores and how you get them. And your job is to simply try to understand them. So if you did it right, you utilize the 3 styles of writing that the National Board process requires, which is being descriptive, then analytical, and finally reflective. It also, to be right and to do what you should do, you should have used the National Board standards for your certificate area. You should have become those National Board certified standards. They should have been a part of your thinking, your reflecting, your analyzing, your classroom teaching, the student learning. You would have completely shifted because you would have become what they say in those standards a National Board Certified teacher is. So you would feel extremely different coming out of the process than you did going in it and through it. Also, you would be able to go to that rubric that I'm talking about, which is at the end of every one of your components. Each component has its own rubric. And you would be able to find the evidence in your writing that you did, your written commentary. You could find the evidence where you would literally be able to write the sentences that you had in your written commentary that meets that rubric as proof. You also would be able to find it in the evidence pieces that you turned in. Now, I know that that's easier said than done. I get that. Teachers tell me all the time, Tracey, but I don't even know because I still don't even know what those rubric words mean. How do you even know what those rubric words mean? The more you get into those standards, the more you talk about this with others in cohort groups near you or cohort groups like mine that's online, you will begin to understand and internalize this on a different level. And you'll be able to say, yeah, like this feels right. I can find it. I can prove it. You want to be able to think like a lawyer. You want to claim that you did something and you want to provide the evidence of it. So you're claiming that your students grew in this particular area and you met their needs. Now give us the evidence. You should have been able to write that through those questions that they give you to respond to. So did you do it right? Or what did I do wrong? Really comes down to looking at that rubric and trying to figure out what parts of it can you find evidence for and what parts can you not. Did you write in a really analytical voice that claims evidence type voice? And what did you describe well enough so that the assessor can understand what the heck is going on, but not write in that vague kind of a sense that they cannot pull the evidence? Because that was one thing as a former assessor for the renewal process for National Board, you'd want to pull the evidence because you see it, but it's just vague. Anybody could say the students were able to meet goal 1. But what's the evidence of that? You need to say as seen when they. It is evidenced when my student said da 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 that they're able to da 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 da, right? So those subtle nuances in the writing and in trying to find evidence that matches those rubric bullet points is super important. So I work in cohort form with renewal candidates as well. And with those renewal candidates, I force them to fill the rubric in from the beginning. Start with the rubric because that's what your assessor is going to fill in. And I say the same for you in initial. Look at the rubric and fill in and plan from the rubric first. Plan from the rubric. We all want to go answer the questions. That's nice. National Board wants you to do that. But I can remember being an assessor and not even knowing what the questions were. Weird, right? Because what did I have to know? I had to know what the rubric was. That's what I was scoring. I was scoring the rubric. I was scoring the standards for the National Board. I wasn't scoring those questions. I wasn't scoring how well you answered those questions. So remember that. A passing score on the National Board certification process will equal your ability to meet the rubric and write in a way that influences the assessor to find evidence to your claims. Okay, and also time invested in this process does equal a better outcome. So some people like to just do what they always do and just write it up. They haven't really read their standards. They haven't really become their standards. They're just like, oh, I have this great lesson. It's wonderful. I'm going to do it. But then it doesn't really match the rubric and the standards. Therefore, even though it's a great lesson, you might have gotten the presidential award from it. For the National Board, it isn't going to fly because it needs to match their process.